Mm-mm. Oh, hey there. Didn't see you come in. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch the Movie. I am Mike, and I want to thank Magic Spoon Cereal for sponsoring this video today. You know, the keto diet's not all that bad, but there's only so many goddamn mixtures of eggs, bacon, and sausage that you can have. You get sick of it. Sometimes you just want something sugary and tasty. Plus, you get sick of having to cook it all. And don't even get me started on the microwavable keto breakfast that tastes like a hunk of drywall from a 1996 Blockbuster Video bathroom stall. This stuff, sometimes you just want to have a quick, simple, sugary tasting cereal. And that's where Magic Spoon is here to save the day. And it comes in all sorts of options. They've got vanilla frosting, they've got maple, they've got my personal favorite at the moment. I flip-flop a lot between them, but right now I'm really enjoying blueberry. But they've got cookies and cream, they've got honey nut, they've got peanut butter. The opportunities are endless, Steven. And I know that we've all been burned by keto sweets that taste like someone actually just took chalk and ran it through an ass machine and then left it in the hot sun for 7 hours before sprinkling it with chocolate chips just so you could feel alive again for a second before wanting to throw yourself out of a fucking window. But this stuff is actually tasty. And unlike that time you tried to buy a swimming pool off of Craigslist and ended up beaten by a hobo with a water hose, it is money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, they will refund you, no questions asked. Try Magic Spoon today at our link down below using code AsianT for $5 off your own variety box today. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike, and today we are reviewing The Black Phone. It is one of my most anticipated movies of 2022. It was probably too anticipated, but we'll get into all that. But first off, I want to say, so this comes out, I believe, on June the 24th. One of the rarest times ever there was an early screening here in Kentucky, because they don't care about us folks down here in the South eating our goddamn Piggly Wigglies. Finally got an early screening of something, so that was nice. But I'm going to make this spoiler-free, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody else. So The Black Phone is kind of a soul sister to Sinister. They're not the same plot or anything like that. It's not a sequel, but it's the same director. It also stars Ethan Hawke, and it just has that same mood to it and that same cinematography. What it's about is Ethan Hawke plays this guy who's a child abductor slash abductor. He's not a fucking train conductor. He murders children, for God's sakes. He's terrorizing this small neighborhood. He pretends to be a magician, and he drives around town in a black van abducting kids. He uses black balloons to cover him up before he puts them in a basement and messes with them until eventually killing them. He abducts a young boy named Finney, played by Mason Thames, who we've come to know quite well throughout the film as we've watched him struggle with his alcoholic, abusive father and bullies at school and this and that. And when he's abducted, the disconnected phone in the basement that he's trapped in rings, and long-lost voices of other kids the grabber murdered reach out from beyond the grave to help him escape, while his sister, who's played by Madeline McGraw, does all she can to help find him. Talking about the movie itself, I went in with way too high of expectations. So I want to say that. I want to be accountable for being that dude. There's so many movies now these days that I feel like we go to and we're so excited for that we make up these grandiose things in our head, and then when we go to see them, we end up not just not liking the movie or appreciating, or just being a little bit disappointed, but end up hating it and just like rue everyone who even likes it because it fucking kicked us in the sack one day when we were a child eating Wheaties. You know, why is that what I went to? Maybe it was the cereal thing. I don't fucking know. But it puts you in the mental movie equivalent of having your nuts in a vice grip. It makes it so hard to end up getting what you want out of that movie. And I knew this going in. I think I did the same thing with Sinister when it came out, but anyways, I just want to be full frontal male nudity with you all anyways, but also in this case, I had too many expectations going in. Why was I so excited about it? Well, because it felt like the first movie that had the opportunity to be truly scary in a while. We get a lot of great horror movies. You know, the Candyman remake, we got Scream, we got all this awesome stuff going on in horror. But this felt like it was going to be the first truly scary movie in a little while. You know what I mean? Like, and what I mean by truly scary is not just entertaining or fun or good horror, but horror that actually scares you, like really like fucks with you a little bit. Movies that have done this to me include The Ring and Hereditary and Sinister. I wanted one of those again, and an original property at that, so that was very excited for me going in. That got my hopes a little bit too much as far as it's going to be fucking frightening. And does it have scares in it? Yes, there's two particular jump scares that were really well crafted and done amazingly, and actually, you know, made everybody in the theater, I feel like, jump. But it's not all about jump scares, obviously, but those were well done ones, so they're okay. And it is frightening. It has frightening moments in it. Ethan Hawke is creepy as shit, and we'll get to him. It is a horror film. You can't deny it that it's a horror film. But for instance, on IMDb, it's listed as solely horror. Now, the way that the scares play out, it's much more anxiety-induced thriller. You know, it's much more suspense than it is pure horror. And it feels like it holds back a little bit. I want to be careful with how I say this next thing, because when we're dealing with a movie about child murder and stuff like that, I don't need to see the gnarly details. You know, I'm so thankful that like Rob Zombie didn't direct this. I don't want to see it happen. That's not what I'm saying. But it does feel like this movie is afraid to go there. They're taxed with the job in this movie of making it scary to you without showing it to you. And I understand that. I just don't think that they went far enough. Felt like they really took their foot off the gas pedal when it came to some of this stuff. And we've seen stuff on Netflix and things like that I feel like have pushed the needle further when it comes to the horror stuff. So that was surprising to me a little bit. I never felt threatened in a way by this movie, if that makes any sense. That doesn't mean it wasn't suspenseful. There's a couple scenes where he's trying to escape. He's making escape plans and things like that, and they're palm-inducing. They're suspenseful. They're really well made. It just doesn't have the pure horror that I think I expected. And that, if that's not what the movie is, then I don't blame the movie for that, because it's still a well-made movie, and they still did a good job. It just wasn't nearly as scary as I wanted it to be. And I'm going to go through the negative stuff about the Black Phone first, because there is positive stuff to talk about. So I'm just going to continue on my negative Nancy train here. I hate to do that. I hate to be that way, because it's a good movie overall. But let me just get this off my fucking chest, okay? First off, Ethan Hawke was amazing, and we'll get to that. He was awesome, and we knew he was going to be awesome. He's one of the best actors working, and him in a role like this was so exciting to me. I could not wait to see him just take a bite out of this wild and fucking crazy role, a ballsy ass role that he was going to play. And I just can't believe what happened. What I saw the trailer for this several times and thought it was a good trailer. I was like, oh, I don't think it showed too much. I can't wait. You would see these little lines that he would say in the trailer, and you would go, oh man, that's going to be so good. I can't wait to see more of that. I can't wait to see him actually have a dialogue-filled scene. I can't wait to see more of the grabber and him, you know, just chew on the scenery of this wild role. Doesn't happen. Almost every single fucking Ethan Hawke moment you get is somehow shown in this trailer. And the trailer doesn't even show that much. So I guess I'd land on the reasoning that there's not enough the grabber in the movie. There's not enough scary scenes in the movie, to be honest. There's definitely not enough Ethan Hawke. I get that you want to keep the character a mystery because he's creepier that way, but they really keep him a mystery. I mean, every time he's on screen, he talks almost, but I guess he's just not on screen enough. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I don't know how this short trailer, which I don't feel like showed too much, showed everything. It gave away every Ethan Hawke moment in the movie. And that's so weird. Like, I caught myself watching the movie and being like, oh, that's what that part was. Oh, that's what that part was. Oh, well, we still have a chase scene to go, so I know that at least he's going to do this, and that's not giving anything away. It's in the trailer. He's chasing him down the street and grabbing him. So there's that scene, so that's over with, and I'm like, dang, there's only like 15 minutes left. Are we gonna get to something I haven't been hat tipped at before? And that was really disappointing. There's a couple scenes at the end that they didn't, that they couldn't have shown in the trailer because it would have just been a dead giveaway for what was going on. So there was a couple little moments like that, but for the most part, man, every grabber scene is really just. It's really just tipped off in the trailer. I don't know if it's like a Ryan Turk movie produced thing, but it seems like a habit at this point. Like, these Blumhouse movies are just, I'm seeing too much in the trailers. I understand where they're coming from on this one, because my wife went into the theater. She had never seen a trailer before, and she loved the movie, by the way. She found it scarier than I did, and of course she would. That was the first time she saw that scary-ass mask. That was the first time she saw Ethan Hawke deliver these freaky-ass lines that he was delivering. I understand where Blumhouse is coming from, though, because how would you market this movie without showing that mask and Ethan Hawke talking? It's a difficult job, but much like the job of walking that line between showing just enough to make you scared and not showing too much gratuitous stuff, is the director's job showing enough to get people interested while not lowering the experience of the movie when you watch it, is the marketing team and producing team's job. So I found myself disappointed in both those aspects. It felt like every penultimate scene was tipped off in the trailer. So if I could recommend anything to you, it's to not see the trailer to this movie. If I was Scott Derrickson, honestly, I'd be fucking pissed when I saw that trailer. You know, I hate to bitch about things like this. I really do. Sometimes people are like, it showed too much in trailers that really didn't, you know, so I don't want to be that guy. But I gotta call it like I see it, man. I feel like you could do a better job without tipping so much off in these trailers and still promote the movie. You know, and don't get me wrong, if we didn't do this channel for a living, if we didn't cover movie news and stuff like that, I would definitely be one of the people who's like, I just don't watch trailers anymore. I don't do it. Because you might say, well, just don't watch the trailer. I can't, because we cover this stuff in the news and things like that. But I would be that person, I think, otherwise. One thing the film does great is handle its characters and their story arcs and the familial drama plot lines that are going on in this. And again, I think instead of just naming this a horror movie on IMDb, it should be listed as a thriller and a drama as well. There's probably more drama in this than there is horror, I would venture to say. But they do it well, and you care about these kids. The brother and sister dynamic is fantastic. They're going through all of this stuff together, and Madeline McGraw is probably the standout actor in the whole movie next to Ethan Hawke, actress. Next to Ethan Hawke. At one point in the movie, she calls two detectives fucking fart knockers, and I laughed my ass off. She's great. They're great. The dad's great. It's all very dark, and it all makes you feel terrible, and it all really grinds at your heartstrings what these kids are going through and how they stick together through everything. So when he gets abducted and they get separated, man, you feel it. All that being said, still yet, they spend a lot of time on it, and I'm just like, I want to go back to the fucking basement. I want to see more of this grabber character. I want to get more into the scary horror stuff. So it's a double-edged sword. They did a great job of it, and they did a great job of building up these characters. But I really think this movie could have benefited a whole lot from them going back and shooting just 15 minutes worth of scary shit. Now, normally that seems cheap, like, oh, let's do a chase scene or whatever that lasts forever just to add running time. I get that normally that's not the route to go. But I feel like in The Black Phone, if we would have just got more dialogue from Ethan Hawke's character, if we've got more scenes of the actual horror moments of this movie, then I think it really would have added something to the film. But instead, the running time's going by, you're watching the familial drama and stuff happen, and you're just thinking, oh, this isn't gonna be that fucking scary, is it? Like the whole time. And again, maybe that goes back to expectations, and maybe that's on me, but that's how I felt watching this. Okay, I promise I'm not gonna be negative this entire review, but maybe my biggest gripe with The Black Phone, a movie that I enjoyed, I just have to remind you, my biggest gripe with it is that the paranormal stuff. So without getting into much detail at all about it, you saw in the trailer, these kids that were killed from the past are calling on this phone and trying to help him. They even show like the scene where he's training to fight with the phone in the trailer. And it's all just too Stranger Thingsy. I'll be honest with you. I think that the kids that were trying to help I think that was pretty corny, if we're going to be honest with you. The supernatural stuff is never given a plausible enough of an explanation. I know that's like the definition of supernatural, but you know how it is in these movies. You got to connect some dots, and it just feels like they just kind of washed over it with a couple quick explanations of how this could happen or whatever. It just felt a little weak. It's fine, I can get over it, but it wasn't really there. But the worst part is that the kids, they just felt, not the main brother and sister, but a lot of the kids to me felt really corny. It was just way too Stranger Thingsy. And I was worried about this when I saw it in the trailer too, when he's doing like step back and swing and fight. When he's teaching him on the phone how to defend himself using the phone, it's two Stranger Things and corny. I want to use other explanations for how I felt about it, but those two pretty much are spot on for how I felt watching this. And it felt like they were trying to go for the same thing that they did with Sinister at times. Whereas in Sinister, he would find these tapes and you'd be like, okay, here we fucking go. You know what's coming on when the screen gets grainy and all that stuff. They kind of tried to do something like that when a kid would call and then we would go back and look at sort of what happened to him. Maybe that would have been a really good time to show more of Ethan Hawke, like talking to these kids or fucking with them, not actually doing stuff to him, but like mentally fucking with him the way that he does with Vinny here. But instead they go back and they again sort of Stranger Things it. Like it goes back, and instead of those frightening videotapes you got, there's one kid who's playing pinball and there's like rock music playing in a gas station, and he beats a couple kids' ass, and a kid pulls a knife out on him, like the whole time fucking Def Leppard or whatever's playing in the back. And it's all this, like, it's like you go to a Nine Inch Nails concert for a certain mood, right? And if they start playing Blink-182 between sets, it's just not gonna mix. They're both great, but it's just not gonna mix. And we're talking about this really dark shit, and this movie's got this fucked up vibe to it, and all of a sudden we're jumping into this Stranger Things stuff with these flashbacks from time to time, and with some of the stuff these kids are doing, and it didn't mix very well. And now I'm that was a terrible analogy, because I would love to go to a Blink-182 Nine Inch Nails concert. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And it kind of felt like the same thing that happened in It Part 2. where sometimes they would just kind of get Guardians of the Galaxy with it. Kind of felt like that a little bit for me. Okay, so finally, on to the good things. I swore I'd get there. Look, the cinematography and the score and the editing all ruled. I mean, it was awesome. It really is a soul sister to Sinister in that. The opening was maybe my favorite part of the film because it's very David Fincher's Seven opening. I don't know if there was like a record scratching or what the sounds were, but it was very off-putting. In the same way that when Insidious opens and it's like, boom, Insidious, and you hear that violin, again, totally different thing, but it evokes the same kind of suspense in you that you're like, this movie's gonna be fucking dark. And it was never as dark as I thought it was going to be. So that was a little disappointing, but the opening was really, really cool. I love that. Really cool shots, like intertwined between the movie, like of Ethan Hawke standing out there holding those black balloons and shit like that. And the whole vibe of the way it's edited when people are searching for the kids. In the same way that a David Fincher movie has a specific feel, Scott Derrickson and these two movies have that very specific dark ambiance to them. And I love it. The entire film, I fucking love it. And I really hope that we get more movies in this sort of vibe from Scott Derrickson. It'd be cool to see him do kind of a Cornetto trilogy like Edgar Wright did. Completely different genres, obviously, well, almost. But for him to do a series of these movies with this kind of feel and like, it's both beautiful and yet grimy at the same time. I would love to see more in that universe from Scott Derrickson. So that was maybe my favorite part of the film, next to the star of the show, Ethan Hawke. It's not his fault his lines were all in the trailer or tipped off in the trailer at the very least. He was absolutely amazing in this movie. He was so scary and doesn't have to say exactly what he's going to do. He can hint at it and you get the idea. What's going on mentally in this character's head is just all over the fucking place. And that's what makes him so scary. It's not just the mask, it's the weird shit he says and how he handles himself. And that's all just brought to life by Ethan Hawke. He is so fucking scary in this goddamn movie. It's insanity. And again, I just wish I hadn't seen it in the trailer, but damn, that's just a fucking one of the best performances. It's hard to say because Ethan Hawke has so many, but it's just an amazing horror performance. Maybe the best horror performance of the entire year. We'll see how things shake up, but absolutely loved Ethan Hawke. He's scary as fuck in this movie. And I would love to somehow see more of this character, honestly. Like, it left me really wanting more. I know that's fucked up, but give me a break, all right? You all like Freddy Krueger, and we know the kind of shit that he did. But I want to see more of this character because he frightens me. As I said, the main characters work great. The family drama works great. There's a couple tear-inducing scenes, the way that you get so close to these two. There's some escape attempts and some of the stuff that happens in this basement that are very, very suspenseful and make your palms sweat and have you on the edge of your seat for sure. The last act I wish would go on a little bit longer, but the way that all came together really fast, it was really well done, and all that played out really well and suspenseful. And that's pretty much my review of The Black Phone, guys. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5. As I said, I thought it was a really good movie. I had such high expectations, and I wanted it to be scarier, and I wanted more Ethan Hawke, and all of that stuff. But it, at the end of the day, is a really good movie. And if you haven't followed the trailers for this, I think that you are going to love it even more than I did, for sure. And again, I hate doing this review right now because I feel like when everybody sees this, everybody's going to like this a lot more than I did. There's so much greatness in this film. In the Ethan Hawke character and in so many things that they did that I see the potential it has. So it doesn't, to me, it's a great movie. It's a really good movie that just doesn't live up to its potential. And that's okay. They're not all going to. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, live stream Friday night. Can't wait to see you guys there. Me and Jay will both be there. Friday Night Fights returns. Love your all's fucking faces. Don't forget to check out Magic Spoon in the link below. And you guys have an amazing goddamn Thursday.
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you want to know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, faggot!
I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God damn.